Divorce lending. Do you need a specialized lender for divorce lending? I'll tell you. If you want to hear more video on mortgage, if you want more of the know on mortgage, like, share, subscribe. We'd love to have you get our weekly tips and tricks on mortgage. Michelle Oddo with the Oddo Group here at Luminate Home Loans. Do you need a specialized lender for divorce lending? No, you don't have to have that, but you should. And these are the reasons why. A CDLP, a Certified Divorce Lending Professional, which I happen to be one, takes quite a bit of certification, a lot of training, and there are so many nuances that come up in divorce lending that if somebody is not dealing with this on a monthly basis and seeing a lot of activity of these types of loans, the lender will probably miss some things or make mistakes. It's very common. I see it all the time. I cannot tell you how many times a month I get a phone call that somebody's going through a loan, trying to either pay off the ex-spouse, or they're going to sell and each want to buy their own property or whatever it may be, and they're halfway through the loan process, and guess what? Problems. Why? Because if you don't know the guidelines inside out, and there's a lot of guidelines, we have tons of investors, tons of guidelines, so many things to know, that if you don't know these things, you could hit landmines as a loan officer. And a lot of loan officers don't specialize in divorce lending. They just are like, yeah, I'll take another loan. Sure, why not? And then they're knee deep in the loan and they realize, uh-oh, there's things I didn't know. And now my underwriter's asking questions and I don't know the answers. And guess what? We don't qualify. So there's a lot of things to know about divorce lending. For one thing, there's different timelines. What if one of the spouses that we're doing the loan for needs income from maintenance or from child support to qualify? Can you always use that? No, not always. You have to have received it for 6 months if it's a conventional loan, 3 months if it's FHA. It has to continue for at least 3 years after closing. And at certain times with certain incomes, we can either gross it up or we can't. Also, how old are the children if we're getting child support? Will it last? What if we don't need the income to qualify? What if they're not fully divorced and we're in the middle of a separation and my client, the borrower I'm working with, is the high earner, makes the money, and we don't have anything in writing yet showing who's going to pay who what? Can we do that loan? No, not always. Sometimes we can. It just depends. So there's a lot of things to know. There's a lot of guidelines that if you are not certified in this and you do not have the volume of loans with literally every kind of situation you can think of, we have come across. We've seen it all, trust me. If you don't have that kind of volume and that type of experience, you're really going to be walking into a situation where you could get stung, and most likely will, as the loan officer and the client. The other thing is we really try to get involved with these situations earlier on. So we work and partner with a lot of mediators and divorce attorneys and all the rest, because if we can get involved during the writing of the MOU or the decree or whatever it may be, then those people who are specialists in their field, but they don't always know the underwriting guidelines, they can circle back with us and make sure that they're not requiring one of the spouses to agree and sign on the dotted line to doing something they can't actually perform on. Like, what if they don't qualify to refinance and pay off the ex-spouse half of the equity? They may not qualify for that. There's just a lot to know, and it's really important that you get involved with a certified divorce lending professional if you're going through a divorce early on to make sure that you have your ducks in a row and you have an advocate looking out for you and making sure that you are set up correctly and that you're not going to do something you shouldn't be doing. And one of the things that I really love about it, of course, a divorce is never a good thing or maybe a happy situation. I guess sometimes it could be, but usually not. But the thing is that at the end of the transaction that we do together, I always find that the spouse that I'm working with on that end, it just walks away from that whole experience feeling empowered, realizing they could do this on their own, and just so much sense of self-gratification that it's done, the home is now in their name, or they've purchased their own home and maybe they didn't think they could. And it's just a really great feeling to watch somebody walk through that process and walk out on the other end on the upside. So the Oddo Group, Michelle Oddo here with Luminate Home Loans. We'd love to help you get a strategy and put together the plan that you need to go through this divorce in terms of any property owned and how to split that property.